Hi, my name is Sergeant Jim Wagner, and I'm currently a law enforcement in the United States assigned to an elite unit that protects U.S. diplomats. I was also, prior to that, in the U.S. Army on a combat unit, and today what we're going to talk about is ground fighting. The last place you want to end up in a fight is on the ground. You lose mobility, you have restricted techniques you can use, and not only that, if you're dealing with multiple suspects, while you're down on the ground, the other ones are going to jump in and you're going to be possibly injured or killed. You do not want to end up on the ground. However, most law enforcement situations, and even some military police situations, of course, will end up on the ground. Therefore, you have to be comfortable knowing how to fight from there. Now, unfortunately, there's many ground fighting systems out there, but they're not geared towards law enforcement or the military. What we're going to cover here are police techniques for law enforcement officers or corrections officer, and again, military police. You cannot get this stuff from a civilian school because they are not aware of many of the techniques and the weapons that we have to deploy. So what I'm going to show you today are practical, hands-on, easy-to-learn techniques, and if you practice them, you'll be better off in a survival situation. All right, the very first technique we're going to learn is how to fall. But falling can be very dangerous, and so we start off very low to the ground, and we'll learn the techniques. Now, you could end up falling onto the ground by tripping or somebody pushing you. So right now we'll just go through the basics, which is very important for later on if a suspect takes you to the ground. First thing you want to do is be on your knees. You want your hands up, very loose, and you're going to fall straight down. When you fall, turn your head to the side or the other side so you don't hit your face. Absorb the shock in your arms, but do not land on your fist. That will break your fist. So from here, just a very simple exercise, and when you hit the ground, exhale. Do not hit your chest, hit your arms. From the side, it's nothing more than the same technique, and exhale. Now, some people prefer to guard their face and they put a triangle in front of their face. Should their face hit the ground, at least there'll be some sort of soft cushion between your face and the hard ground. So that's okay, and you could get your face right like so. Same technique, just fall straight forward. Now, for those of you who have taken wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or judo, this will be no problem for you. So, for those who are not familiar with falling, I'll cover the basics. Now, we're going to do the exact same thing, but only this time I'm standing, because in a real fight, you're obviously going to be standing to start with. Now, it would be crazy to fall straight down in a real situation. It's too far to the ground, you're going to injure yourself. So, we have to modify it. What I'm going to do is the first step is perhaps somebody is shooting at me, and I need to get to the ground fast. I bend down. Then I kick my legs behind me, and I sort of dive forward. What you want to do is, again, from the fingertips to just before your elbow, absorb the shock. Do not land on your wrist, or you will break your wrist. If you break your wrist, you will not be able to pull your weapon and shoot. From a side view, again, maybe somebody's shooting at me, I need to get to the ground fast, you bend over, you throw your legs out, and then you're already halfway to the ground, and it's not that much of a distance, and don't forget to exhale. You don't want the wind knocked out of you because you need your wind for shooting. Now, I will do it full speed. I hear some shooting, and that's how fast you get down. All right, now I am armed with a gun belt and, of course, a pistol, which would be a typical situation for a police officer, whether military police or a high-rise holster for street patrol. Now, in a tactical situation, and you need to get on the ground fast, you also need to deploy your weapon. So, we do the exact same thing. Perhaps I'm walking to a domestic violence call, and somebody turns around the corner and starts shooting at me. I need to hit the ground right away because in this case I have nowhere to hide, no cover. So So I hit the ground. Once you hit the ground, bullets may be coming. So you need to get away from this area, and you will roll maybe once, maybe twice. Then you'll go for your weapon. What you need to do is throw your leg up, your support leg, and this will get your holster close to you, and you'll come around and you'll fire. All right, now let's talk about step by step what we need to do once we're on the ground. First of all, my legs have to be spread. This will give me a tripod type effect or a triangle, so I have a stable base. This, of course, is after I roll. Now, the next thing you want to do is throw up your weapon leg. Now, these, especially when you're using a low SAS type holster where it can move around on you. Also, this will keep you steady and it will keep your gun steady. Then you will take out your weapon and you will not shoot like this. This is a bad shooting position. You do not do this at the gun range, so don't do it on the ground. What you need to do is lay and extend your arms so you have better control. The gun will shoot just as well sideways, or as we call it, canted. It will shoot just as well sideways as like this. This is too hard, unstable. This is stable. Boom, boom, boom. Now, another reason why we turn on our side is because when you have a vest, or if you have a lot of equipment, if you're like this, you're going to have trouble breathing. It's okay for a few seconds, but if you have to lay here for a long time, it's bad. This gives you space, gives you the ability to relax and breathe. So this is a shooting tactic that you will take when you hit the ground. All right, the next fall we're going to learn is called the back fall. And again, you may be in a situation where somebody pushes you or you're walking backwards and you trip. On this one, you want to be in a squatted position to start with. You want to roll back onto your back, nice and like a ball, and then you want to slap the ground to absorb the shock. Don't forget to tuck your chin to your chest because you do not want to hit the back of your head. I'll demonstrate a couple of them so you understand what I'm talking about. Immediately put your feet on the ground. This will keep you from moving. Now, I will do the same thing. You can see it from a different angle. Just roll back, absorb the shock, and immediately the feet come on the ground. The reason you want to do this is because if you have to shoot, you're already prepared for a shot. Now, if you want to shoot higher, there's nothing wrong with moving your hips up, and now you have good control. All right, now from a standing position, just for practice, feet shoulder apart, somebody pushes me or I fall backwards. The key is to drop your butt to the ground. The problem is, when most officers get pushed, they try to gain their balance, they end up hitting their head, they hit a wall. Usually you know what is around you within your peripheral vision. So, if somebody pushes you or you trip and you can't gain balance, just drop straight down and that will protect you. In this case, drop your butt, feet, and then you can go to a weapon or you can switch. If this is empty hand, you can switch to a fighting position. Now, from the side, same thing. Somebody pushes me or I walk backwards and I trip, just drop the butt, go for the weapon, or get ready for a fight. Now we will do it with a training partner. This could be any kind of situation an officer might find themselves in. I could be talking to him because he hit his wife. I could be writing a traffic ticket. We're face to face. Now, remember, when you get pushed and you cannot gain your balance, the best thing to do is drop down, butt straight to the ground, get ready for a fight. So, my partner and I'm talking with him. Why'd you hit your wife? Why aren't you? And now I can go for my gun, or I can get ready for the fight. If I get up, he might kick me in the face. Of course, the last one was in a static position. Now you also need to know how to fall when you're moving backwards. However you move backwards, whether fast or slow, here's the basic principles. You don't want to ever run backwards. If you run backwards, you're likely to fall. What you want to do is, if anything, you'll roll your feet. You'll do it cautiously. Now, if I want to fall, again, once I trip, butt goes straight down to the ground. So I'll demonstrate. You're walking backwards. The instructor says trip. Immediately fall, feet, and get ready for a fight. Also, if I need to retreat, perhaps I'm a police officer walking up to a situation and suddenly the bad guy comes out with an AK-47, a Kalashnikov. What am I going to do? If I start running, I might hit my head, I might bump into something. The best way to do it is what we call a hasty retreat, a fast retreat. What you do is step and slide, step, slide, step, slide, step, slide. Then, if I hit a wall, my foot will feel it. So in real time, perhaps I'm a police officer and I'm coming in, I'm searching the area, all of a sudden I see someone with a rifle. I have nowhere to go but back. This is the technique you would use so you don't trip. Then I didn't hit my head because I felt this wall with my foot. Also, at any time, as I'm going back, I can stop and I have a good shooting position. What we're going to do here now is put our back falling technique into practice. This system I learned from some police officers in the state of Washington in the United States. And once I saw it, I really liked it and I saw the value in it. Now, the reason I do this exercise is for two purposes. One is to learn how to fall spontaneously in a real situation. The second reason is, at one point he will attack me with a knife, like a real situation. What happens to many police officers or soldiers in combat is what we call tunnel vision. Once you are being attacked, your vision is only on the threat. You forget about everything around you. It's happened to me several times. It happens to everybody. You cannot avoid it. That's your system trying to survive. This will, if you want to know what tunnel vision is, practice this technique and you'll know for sure. Now, what I want to do is, first of all, start slow. We do this 3 times. The first one, you're looking at him, but don't worry about him right now. You're going to have this could be a furniture, this could be something in the street like a curb, it could be any kind of object. Now, on your first one, you can look. It's okay to look. Just start walking backwards, and then when you hit, don't stop. Drop your butt straight down and fall correctly. My chin is in my chest. Because my force is going this way, it is almost impossible to land on him. So he's safe, he's okay. However, don't hit him here, don't hit him in the legs. That's why we do it in the center. All right, number 2. This is especially good for you police officers. Here's my suspect. Maybe I'm here, but right now this is just a drill. But I have my gun on him, or I'm here. The problem is I don't want to look back. If I look back, he can get me. So I keep here, and now I know where he is, but I'm not going to look. I'm here. I start moving back, and then I fall. You don't need your hands to fall. You need to fall correctly, and you'll be okay. All right, the next one, number 3, is going to be a police-type scenario. What we're creating here is a domestic violence call. I'm a police officer and I'm coming to talk to this man who I believe hit his wife. Now, behind me could be children's toys, it could be a coffee table, it could be anything, something you would find in somebody's living room. Now, I'm going to come up and talk to him, and what I'm going to do is just interview him like I would anybody else. At some point, he's going to pull a knife on me, and he's going to try to kill me. He's going to go as fast as he can. I want this to be like real life. Interesting is you'll end up having what they call, again, tunnel vision or weapons focus. And I'll be concentrating on trying to survive because I don't want to get cut, I don't want to get killed. I'm going to end up falling over him. That's okay. Now, in a real life situation, you're not going to do like most martial arts teaches. You're not going to be doing a fancy block or anything like that. That is not real life. I've been attacked twice by real knives, and you don't have that kind of chance. You're going to end up trying to get away from the knife. That's why this is a good exercise. Sir, your wife, she's bleeding. What did you do?
No, that is not true.
Well, how come she got a cut out?
No, you are lying. That is not true.
Sir,
that is not true.
Sir, you're going to have to cooperate with me.
No, but I have.
Now, he kept coming at me, and as you can see, I did it just like I did real life. I'm not going to wait, and I'm not going to look at him because I'm concentrating on surviving. You can set up situations like this for yourself, and you'll find that it will be very beneficial. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. I felt fine. I forgot about him, but no injuries, and I was able to pull my gun and prepare for the attack. All right, the next one we're going to learn on how to fall onto the ground is what we call a forward roll. And again, for you judo people and other types of martial arts that go on the ground, this is going to be very simple for you. Let's go over the principles. First, I start in a squatting position just so I can get the technique. What you want to do is tuck your chin to your chest, again, so your neck is not moving so you don't break your neck. Touch your hands on the ground, and then push off with your feet and roll over. Stay like a ball. Here, forward, and push with your feet. And then you should end up, of course, like this. Now, from the side, and again, this is only an exercise. From the side, I'm here, my hands on the ground, then I tuck my chin, and I push, and I come up. From here, now we'll try it more tactically. I go back down to the ground, but this time, instead of going directly forward, I want to roll into it onto my shoulder. So, from here, just for this training, put your fingers in front of your opposite knee. I'm going to roll on this shoulder, and then push off, and come up. When I'm in a standing position, perhaps I'm running, or perhaps somebody pushes me really hard. It's okay to use your hands to guide yourself and come up. You don't want to jump into it. You just want to touch the ground and roll. So from here, just touch the ground and roll into it. And then, of course, you're in a fighting position right from here. Now, from the back, perhaps I'm coming up with my weapon, and I'm moving up fast, and now I have to roll or somebody pushes me. You want to take the weapon and protect it so if you don't hit it, you want to protect it as you roll. So I'm moving, and then I'm back up again, or I turn around from someone who pushed me. Now, in this next exercise, I have my training partner who's armed with a weapon, and I need to get away from him. Now, we have an obstacle in front of me. Right now, for you, the beginner, it could be small, but you can have ones bigger and bigger until maybe about this size where you have to jump over it. You want something soft because you don't want to hurt anybody in training, especially yourself. So keep it soft. In this case, we have a sports bag. So, when I tell my partner to go, he's going to chase me, I'm going to go over it. boom, 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 boom. And that's the exercise. Very simple, but it gets you in the habit of thinking of somebody chasing you. Doing it by yourself is not very beneficial, except for learning the movement. Having someone chase you makes it realistic. Now, you can't always think of ground fighting as just fighting a suspect on the ground. Ground fighting is much more than that. In this case, I'm purposely going to put myself on the ground so I can fire my weapon. Perhaps I'm moving, I need to get behind cover and return fire. The ground is the best place for a combat situation when you have not too many things to hide behind. Now, the military, when I was in the United States Army, every time we practiced for combat in an open area, we always got down on the ground. Unfortunately, police do not practice this hardly at all, and it's very rare that they do. So, when you're running, you want to brace yourself and you want to slide, and you want to keep the gun from hitting the ground, or you could end up with dirt inside, or you could end up damaging the weapon. So I'll demonstrate the first one. You're going to run up, keeping your fire. Then when you hit the ground, you're going to dive and brace your gun here and slide using your arms. Not like this. And then from here, you will get into the shooting position we talked about. Now I will do one full speed. And of course, these are training mats, so you're not going to injure yourself, but you should also try this out on the streets or on concrete. That's another reason why you should have long sleeves, and you should also have elbow pads, especially for special operations. Now, I'm just going to run up to it, hit the ground, and then fire. For those of you who carry a shotgun on patrol or a submachine gun for special operations, and you need to fire from the ground, the technique for this is like as follows. You're going to be running with your weapon. Of course, you're never going to have your finger on the trigger when you're running, so it really makes no difference. But as you're running, you're going to grab the stock. In this case, it's a folding stock. You're going to run. I don't know how fast you'll be running, depends on the situation. Then, you don't have your hands free. Your hands are occupied with this weapon. So, you hit the butt into the ground to absorb the shock. Your forearm immediately follows. Then, you get into a firing position, depending on what kind of weapon you're using. And of course, this is a good prone position. And knee up. If you want to put your knee back because you're used to that, that's okay also. Now I will attempt it at full speed. Again, you want to practice in different environments. On the grass, in the snow, on the sand, because each environment is going to be slightly different. So I'm here. Now we're going to talk about taking a suspect or a criminal down to the ground. First we will do step by step, then afterwards we'll do a spontaneous exercise. There's basically only two ways to take somebody to the ground. Yes, there are martial arts teaching many things, but if you're going to do realistic, reality-based fighting, there's basically two ways, and they're the most effective. Now, in this position, we're both in the same type of fighting stance. He's in a left lead, I'm in a left lead. For now, we'll just call it opposite, because he's turned opposite of me. So we call this an opposite takedown. Now, it doesn't matter where your hands are. I could be hitting him, we could be fighting, it makes no difference. We're studying the technique. Now, if you ever find yourself in this situation, here's the technique you're going to use. Always use your back leg, the front. If you lift up your front leg, you're off balance. If you lift up your back leg, you have better balance and you're moving into him. Always take your back leg, always attack his front leg because it's near to you. Now, in this case, I see that his front leg is there. I will take my leg and I will wrap it around. We call this a snake, like a snake going around a vine. I take this and I pull. Then, with my hands or my fist, I push. Pull, push, I take him down. Most of the time, your knee will end up in his groin. Then from here, you can hit him, turn him over, arrest him. Now, we'll try it at a faster speed. And again, mats, you don't want to hurt your partner. Here we are, we're struggling. Move in on him. Very simple technique. The next one is if we end up toe to toe. We're in the same side. All right, this is the second one. Again, the same rule. Back leg always attacks the front leg. In this case, I'm here or I'm punching him, makes no difference. This leg comes up high and now it sweeps that way. My hands will push him over. So we'll try it slow. I'm here, I grab a hold of him. This knee, if it's there, this is good for the ribs. From there, we can come in and arrest him. Now we'll try it one more time, a little faster. We're here, we're fighting, I bring it up, come down. Of course, when you practice these techniques, anybody can do it. If you know what he's doing, you can look very good. However, real combat is very spontaneous and it's very fast. You don't have time to think. You just have time to react. This exercise is what I call the dancing exercise. We're going to dance. Now, not literally, but for this training exercise. He puts his hands on my shoulders. I put my hands on his shoulders. This is only some place to start. I am the police officer. He is the suspect. Now, when the instructor says dance, we start moving around. We don't care where. I don't even care about where my feet are. We just move. Then, when the instructor says stop, you quickly see what the feet are doing and you do the best technique you can. It's not always going to be perfect, but you have to do something. So we'll demonstrate this, and of course, I will give the instructions. But normally there would be a third person telling you when to dance and when to stop. So we're here. And again, I don't know where he's going to be. So we're moving around. We dance. All of a sudden, stop. Okay, so you want to get up. Once he is taken to the ground, he gets back up. Again, you want to do this maybe 5 or 6 times and then switch. But right now, I'm still the police officer. He's still the criminal. So we move around. The instructor says dance. We move. We just move. All of a sudden, stop. Now I take him and I take him down. You can arrest him if you want, but right now we're just learning the control. Again, we move. All of a sudden, stop. Do it and take him down. You keep doing this, and of course you're going to get better and better, and pretty soon you don't even have to think. It only takes a moment to look. You see where his feet are, you take him down. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to deal with people who want to tackle you. People who learn rugby, American football, or a wrestler, someone who just wants to take you and throw you to the ground. Now, typically, most police officers do not know how to defend themselves. This could be very dangerous, and many big people like to come and grab the legs and take you down. What I'm going to show you is what not to do. Do not do this as a police officer, because this is going to be you on the ground and unable to react to it. So this is how it would look like somebody trying to take you down. He's coming at me, and now he's beating me up. Okay. What you want to do is, when he comes after you and grabs you, now obviously you would try to move him out of the way. But sometimes it's too late. I might be looking over here, then all of a sudden he's on me. So when he tries to get me, throw your legs back. Now he has a difficult time picking you up. I don't even need my hands, I just lean into him. So again, See, I don't need my hands. Now, when he goes this way, my hands are on top of him, and I move around, and I prevent him from getting me. One way, and I'll let him do it faster. And then from there, you can get your baton, or you can arrest him, whatever the situation dictates. Okay, the next thing we're going to cover is when you end up on the ground, whether you push or you trip. Now, the best place to be, or the fighting position you want for the ground, is you always want your gun side up. Or, if you're in the United Kingdom, this would be your baton, or if you're in another country where you're a corrections officer, maybe your pepper spray or CS gas. But your primary weapon will always be up. Why does it have to be up? Because if I'm on this side, how am I going to get to my weapon? I can't get it. I have to move to get it. So it's better if I'm here. The top leg is going to be, of course, your kicking leg. You can kick low, you can kick medium, but don't ever kick too high. The bottom leg is used to push. It's used to get away. It's used to circle. And your hip is going to be your pivot. Your hand is going to protect you. This hand is going to be used to push and to move. Now, if somebody pushes me, the problem is I can't always get up immediately, or I get a kick in the face. I may have to fight on the ground for a few seconds. However, to learn how to move on the ground, here are a few simple exercises that I make my students do. You can do a 360-degree turn. Make sure you're tracking, you're going with the person who's trying to run around you. And so I go one way, and I go the opposite way. Keep your hands up and learn to move. If somebody's faster than me and they move over, I have no choice. I do a flip-flop. I flip, or if he's moving too fast, I flip over. Now, if maybe somebody who's very, very heavy is trying to jump on me, I can't do it with one foot. I can't keep him off. In this case, you get on your back, he's coming on, and you push him away from you. Maybe somebody's trying to hit me with a stick or something long. I can't do it with just one hand. Okay, now I can use two hands and keep him off. Another effective kick is what we call the bicycle kick. This is if somebody's very aggressive, they're trying to get on you. If you hit them with your boots, it's going to hurt and you can keep them off. You're here and you just keep them off. Now obviously, eventually I can get to my gun. If I get to my gun, I can't drop my feet, because if I drop my feet, I'm unprotected. So even if you have your gun out, you always want your foot up there. Now what we'll do is we'll show you an exercise that you can do with a training partner. All right, now I have my training partner, and this exercise is going to be more realistic. It's a combat training exercise on the ground. He pushed me down, or I tripped, and now he has no weapon, but he wants to try to hit me or maybe kick me. For this exercise, for 15 seconds, we won't go 15 seconds, but we'll go about 5 or 6 seconds just to show you what it's about. But he is going to try to tap the top of my head. He's not going to punch. He's only going to try to tap. He can move. He can come in. He can go anywhere. My goal as the police officer is to keep him away from me and to survive for 15 seconds. Okay, go. And that is the exercise. If somebody knows what they're doing, it's very difficult for him. If you don't have much experience, yes, you'll get hit. If my students get their head tapped, I make them do about 20 push-ups for punishment. But the more you do it, the better you're going to be. Now we're going to do the same exercise, but instead of touching the head, Now he has a rubber training knife. His goal is to stab me here, in the groin, in the artery, and he's going to try to hurt me. Of course, I have my weapon now. My goal is to keep him away, and there is no time limit. There is no time limit. My goal is to eventually get my weapon out and shoot him. This is a lethal force situation. He has the potential to kill me. I have to defend myself. Ready? Go. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Stand over there. Now, when I did this, you noticed the first thing I do is I do not go for my gun. I don't want to be occupied looking for my gun and he stabs me and kills me. What I need to do is keep him away, keep him away. When I finally can get to my gun, I'm here. I don't drop my feet. Even if I shoot him, he's going to come in. I need to keep my feet up. Is it possible that I might shoot my foot with a bullet? Yes, it is. But you have to take that chance. You have to keep him off you. However, because his center mass is now higher, I will now shoot for the neck, the beginning of the neck, and that will mean I shoot higher. Hopefully, I'll shoot over my toes. I'd rather lose a toe or part of my foot than get killed. But if I am shooting, I'm going to be here shooting high. If he comes in too close, don't shoot him like this. Again, pull your weapon for point shooting and shoot him from this distance. Okay, the last place you want to be, like I said in a fight, is you do not want to be on the ground. The ground is dangerous. He is dominant. I need to get off the ground. However, if I try to get up and I come up this way, I'm going to end up with a foot right in my face because he's too close. The way you want to get away from a person is you're in a fighting stance, and obviously I can push back and get some distance, but at some point I'm going to take my top foot, put it down. My opposite hand is going to be on the ground. I can still protect myself. Then I take my weight and my foot and I push it under my body like so. Then I can get the distance I need to fight or to get to my weapon. Okay, now we can try it a little faster just so you can see. I'm on the ground. I'm fighting. Immediately plant. Bring your hands up. Scoot underneath yourself and get ready for the fight. That's all you're doing. You're trying to move backward and not into him. All right, now we're going to learn how to punch from the ground. Many people don't know how to punch from the ground. You think you're going to do it just like you would standing, but you're going to find out you don't have quite the mobility or the torque in order to punch. Now, the bad thing about being on the ground where the person is dominant is if he hits me, I get hit twice. Once in the face, once when my head bounces. So you have to be very careful about the ground behind you. That's why you want to keep your head down to the ground. If you do come up, make sure your muscles in your neck are tight so that way you don't get your head bounced. Now, when you punch, he can be here, he can be up here. It doesn't matter. What you have to do when you punch is don't just hit the surface. If you do that, there's no power. What you need to do is turn your body into it. That's why your feet have to be firmly on the ground in a triangle. You're in a triangle. You want a good base if he happens to be on top of you. So he holds the gloves up, and now I'm just going to practice a jab, just going straight through. Again, I don't want to hit the surface. My goal is to go through, and I want to use as much turning as possible. So I'll do a few. You want to put everything you've got into it. If he does a hook punch, right, again, you don't want to be weak. You don't want to just hit with your arm. You need to take your whole body. You still have to guard your face, and you need to turn into it so you can get more power. Turn your whole body into it. Another technique would be to have his arm on top of his thigh. Now, instead of just going like this, or to the groin, now you're into it, you reach behind you, and you go forward. Don't just use your arms. Power is everything, and you're going to have to move. All right, the next thing we're going to cover is how to block punches. He's in a dominant position on the top of me, and of course he's just going to try to hit me and of course defeat me, which is a bad position to be in. So for this exercise, all I want him to do is to try to slap me. Now, most people will be good at blocking. However, there's one thing that's going to be missing from most people. So I'll show you what people typically do, and you do want to block, but I'll show you afterwards what's the best thing to do. So he starts hitting me, and it's just going to be slapping for now. However, the problem is he still has complete dominance over me. He's still able to get in. Eventually he's going to hit me. So now I will do something slightly different. He's going to try to hit me. All right, now that you know, we call it the hip wiggle because you're trying to move so he does not have balance. However, you have to get him off you. The next one we're going to do is called a hip throw. And if you grew up with any sisters or brothers, you've probably already done this to them. Now, as he's coming in, whether he's grabbing me or whether he's just hitting me, makes no difference. You're going to take your hips and thrust them forward. You're going to go high. Now, he needs to land on his hands. Once he does, whether it's with one hand or two hands, in this case he gave me both hands, that's okay. Once he lands, wrap around him. And of course you in jiu-jitsu will recognize this. So as soon as you have a free hand, wrap it, and with the other hand, shove him off. Now you become in a dominant position and you take control. All right, we're going to cover choking exercise where he has his arms around my throat. Now, the problem is if you try to do like a lot of systems do, where you try to hit him or whatever, the problem is he has more power. And if he breaks your larynx, you're going to suffocate. Just like in first aid, when you come to a wounded person, it's the ABCs, airway. First you have to worry about your airway. So, what I want to do is take my armpit and I want to throw it over his hand. This is going to relieve some pressure from my neck. Now, the problem is with one arm, he's stronger than I am and I can't really do much from here. But once I grab my hands or I grab down, now he's limited to only his fingers to grab me. Now, the next move is once he's trying to choke me, I come down and now I will turn with him. And for a second, his hands are trapped, which is good, because now I'm going to be all over the top of him, and I'm going to take him down. And now I will be dominant. Now, in this exercise, my partner has a knife. You could easily, as a police officer, end up in this situation where somebody's trying to stab you or cut you. How are we going to fight against this person? This is a situation where he is going to rapidly win. Now, for this turning exercise, we put on some glasses so we protect the eyes. I want him to try to cut me in the face or poke me in the face. Now, obviously, this is going to be very difficult to start with, but you have to learn how to survive it. Now, in a real situation, you're going to get cut. You're going to get stabbed. There's no chance of you probably getting out of this untouched. You'll be lucky if you live. Now, he's just going to start trying to slash and cut me, right? He's going to do whatever he can. At some point, like we talked about in my video, Knife Defense, at some point I got to grab him. Once I grab him, I have to close in. How do I close in? I put it tight to my body. Once I have control of this, the next move is takedown. I have to take him down any way I can. And of course, the fourth move is to escape and run away. Now we're going to try it one more time. And this time, we're going to go fast. He's going to try to get me fast. Then, get away from him.
Okay, this is going to be, of course, a police officer's worst nightmare. A suspect on top of him, trying to get his gun. Obviously, he's going to shoot me with my own gun. And what I have to do is I have to protect my weapon. Now, what we do for my students is we have an instructor standing by. We put him like this. Then when the instructor says, go, we start fighting for the same pistol. He's trying to take my pistol to shoot me, and I'm trying to be a police officer to get him away from me and shoot me. Unfortunately, many people, many police officers do this technique wrong. And as we're fighting, they try to get onto their gun side. The problem is, now I have my back to him. You don't ever want to put your back because it gets worse and worse. If I have my back to him, he can knee me in the back. He could end up hitting me with this hand or stabbing me. This is a bad situation to be in. What you want to do in this kind of situation is the goal is to put him in between my legs. Now, I'm not going to be able to stand up for a while because he has too much weight, he has too much power. Now, if you're fighting and you see that you're not getting anywhere, that's because you're in the wrong position. What you need to do is you need to shove your knee here. Once you get your knee between him, now it's going to become more easy because now you can start maneuvering yourself and putting him between your legs. We'll try this again. And again, we use a gun that has been cleared and that is safe and it's been properly checked. So we're here, we're struggling. Now I have more control over him. I can go for his eyes, I can end up pushing him over, but at least I have better control. Now, once he's here, in fact, get in the middle. Once he's going for my gun, there's a couple things you have to be aware of. If he grabs my gun, now I have a problem, obviously. What I might want to try to do is get my foot on his hips. I only need one hand to secure my gun, and then I push. I throw my other foot over, and now I'm in a better position to fire. Another situation is I'm able to get the gun away from him. He's going to try to grab it, and I shoot him inside the groin. All right? Again, he tries to grab. I throw my hips up, and I shoot underneath me. He's not going to expect this. If I pull it out and he tries to grab it, I move it up here, and he tries to get it. Now, when he tries to reach for it, I can hit him in the back of the head. If somebody, a friend, tries to come up, I can shoot other people who are coming up. And then get away from him, and then fire. So, sometimes you're going to be able to pull the gun and get it away. Other times, he's going to grab the gun. You have to practice and be prepared for any situation. Okay, now I'm in a situation where he has 100% of his weight on top of me. There's no way I can get my knee underneath him because he has too much weight, and plus he's going to be moving as much as I'm going to be moving. The problem is you don't have much mobility, so you have to do an exercise, what we call shrimping. This is one situation where I'm going to have my gun side up, but as long as I have one hand securing my weapon, I'll be okay. Again, never turn your back to the suspect, never. So where is my back going to be? My back's going to be that way, so I'm facing him. So your feet are firmly planted on the ground. I take my free hand and I push his body. Once I do, I take my butt and I throw it out that way. And now it catches him off balance. Then, once he gets off balance, now I can start doing things to get off. So we'll try it again. Again, he's on top of me, and all I do is I throw my foot up, and the good thing is I can also start sitting up if I have to. As long as he loses his balance, I'm okay. Now, he could be from the other side too, and he could be on top of me. You have to practice both ways. You never know where the suspect's going to be. Now, in this case, he might be going for my gun, and where should I put my back? My back will go that way, and I'll face him. So again, use a hand to lift him up a little bit, and then throw your hips out really quick. This will give you more maneuverability, and now you could do whatever jiu-jitsu that you want to do. It's up to you. As long as you follow the principles and throw your hips out, always keep your back away, you're going to be better off, and then you're going to get to be able to shoot him quicker. Again, he's trying for your gun, he's trying to kill you. You have to be fast, and you have to be lethal. All right, for you people already in jiu-jitsu, this is going to be very familiar to you, known as the shrimping technique. Now, to do it by yourself and to better explain for you to understand the concept is basically somebody is on my chest. Okay? Bring your feet up. Make sure they're flat on the ground. This time, I will pretend the suspect's here. I want to aim my back that way. So I take my hands and I push this way. My butt goes that way. That will give me a cavity where I can start moving my leg underneath him. If I want to go that way, again, he's on top of me, my feet come up, my push. And of course, because of the shape of my body, they call it a shrimp. So you're here, and that is what you do when you're by yourself. Now let me show you what to do when you're with a training partner. Okay, now that I have my training partner, you're going to do an interesting shrimping exercise, and once you do this several times, you'll never forget this technique again. Basically, I have somebody standing next to my shoulders. All right, I'm in a laying down position. I pretend somebody is laying on my chest. Then I take my hands, I come, and I push away. He jumps over me, and he's in the position on the other side. I turn, and now I push off. He goes again, I turn, I push off. He goes again, turn, push off. He goes again, turn, push off. You can do this as far as you want, as far as the distance you want. I usually make my students go about 50, 60 meters, and then after that I have them switch. Then he would do it, and then of course I would jump over him. Again, this is to perfect the shrimping exercise. Okay, obviously this is probably one of the worst positions you can ever find yourself in. You have a suspect on top of you, you're face down, and now he's going to start hitting you in the back, hitting you in the head. What do? Because if you try to get up, he's going to keep pushing you to the ground. By the time you keep trying this, he's going to hit you harder and harder. What you need to do is immediately get to your stomach. And because he has a lot of weight on you, what you do is you take one of your hands and you throw your arm out and you quickly get onto your shoulder. From there, you now have two hands. Then I'm going to obviously sweep him out of the way, and I'm going to try to get on top of him. Right? So we will start over, and this time he's going to hit me hard in the head. And now, as he's like that, I'm going to try to come on top of him, and now I reverse the roles. Again, the whole key is to take it and shoot that shoulder as fast as possible. Okay, if you thought the first position was bad, this is worse. Now you got somebody who's cranking on your neck, who's trying to break your neck and choke you at the same time. Again, I can't punch him. There's no way to punch him. And by the time I do, he's going to break my neck. What is the rule whenever someone has their hands on your neck? Is open up the airway. I got to open up my airway. Then immediately, I go for the claws or I go here. If I have to switch my hands, I go for here. Now he's going to try to get away from me. When he gets away from me, that's when I make my move. So when he's trying to get away, now I'll do whatever I can, and then I'll counterattack. This is not easy. It's very difficult. But as long as you open up your airway Immediately try to find his eyes. He's going to turn back. When he turns back, make your move. Whatever you think is the best move at that time. It depends on where his body is and his position. I can't tell you what to do, but you saw one example. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple arrest and control techniques. Maybe I'm with someone, or maybe I'm by myself, and I'm waiting for my other fellow police officers to help me. I have a suspect here, and of course, this is all part of ground fighting, because I want to put him on the ground. Anytime I have a dangerous suspect, I need to put him on the ground and prone them out. So I'll give typical orders of one of the best techniques used today. I'll do one which is good, but then I'll do another one which I think is slightly better, especially if you're by yourself. So, this could be a longer distance, or it could be like this. I have my gun on him. Sir, put your hands up over your head. Grab the back of your shirt. Pull your shirt up. Okay, the reason that I'm making him pull his shirt is because I want it flat. 90% of all weapons are in the waistband. So if I can see that first, I'll feel a bit safer. Now, turn around, do a full circle. Go, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Stop. I was able now to see if he had a weapon in his waistband. Now that and of course this could work for jackets as well. Plus it keeps his hands where I can see them. Now, I'm also seeing, don't forget, people can hide weapons here, so I'm also looking for that. Now, get down on one knee. Get down on one knee. Get down on the other knee. Take your right hand and put it on the ground. Now, the reason that I take his right hand is because 80% to 85% of the population is right-handed. So I want possibly his weapon hand on the ground, isolated first. Yes, he might be left-handed, but that's a 20% chance, 15% chance. Now, from here, left hand on the ground. Make sure he's in this position. Also, it's harder for him to get up and grab a weapon. Now, slide back on your stomach. Put your arms out like a cross. Palms up. Cross your ankles. Cross your legs. Cross your legs. Cross your legs. Sometimes they're not listening to them, and this is the first time I'm arresting him. He's never seen this before, so he's acting just like a real suspect would, and a lot of times they're not listening to you. Now, from here, I will holster my weapon, and I will secure it, and I will lock it down. I'll have another officer cover me. Now, if I want to do this arrest, obviously I come up when he's not looking. I'll come up, I'll test him, see if he's going to fight. Then I will move in, grab his arm, grab his wrist, neck, back, and now I have my hands free because I can stand up and that hurts. Now I take and I arrest him and I take his other hands. Now another situation, we'll do another one that's slightly different. Okay, another one that I prefer, which I've used out in the field, is, and this is especially good when you're by yourself and you don't want to take any chances. Of course, you holster your gun because, again, you don't want to be fighting with your gun out. If there's more people, okay, they can cover. Now, I tell the suspect, feet in the air, and he puts his feet straight up. That's it. Now you approach from behind, and you immediately grab his toes, and you sit down on him, and I can lean forward. He can't get up. It's very difficult to get up, and plus I can put my hand on him. Now, give me your hand, and give me your other hand, and now I can hook him up and make the arrest. Very simple. He can't move. The worst case scenario is if he starts fighting and he pushes me off. Where is he pushing me? He's pushing me away from him, which is just fine with me. So this way is a little more safer. When his feet are crossed like so, that's very easy. You don't need to do anything. Just grab, put your legs in between, and come down. You don't put all your weight on him, but if you need to, you can go forward. Now, one way, the old way, which many departments do not want you to do because it's dangerous on his knees is what they call a figure four. Don't push his leg in that, and then it hurts, and it's very effective, but the problem is, if you do it too fast, you can blow this guy's knee, which obviously is a liability for you and your department.
All right, we've covered a lot of techniques on ground fighting. And of course, you're probably a little surprised because this does not resemble a typical ground fighting class. We did things starting when you're standing up, we did things when you're laying down on the ground like most people do, and how to get up, and also some arrest and control. Ground fighting is a perishable skill like any combatives type of training, and you got to constantly practice. If you're doing a lot of fancy techniques, and if you have to think about techniques, you're going to get killed in a real situation. You have to use techniques that are gross motor skills and very simple. Now, I know a lot of fancy things that I've learned from ground fighting, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, but after a few weeks you forget a lot of these techniques. You got to stick with things that are simple and effective. If you do that, you'll survive. Yes, there's a lot more techniques, but I think this will cover the basics in survival situation if you end up on the ground.